So guys, we have one last topic that we've all wanted to talk about, and it's a big one, big steaming pile of one, and it was the new 2017? It came out this year, right?
Yeah.
It seems like it was so long ago that pile of crap happened.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's how bad it was. Is Shoki doesn't want to acknowledge it in the year 2017.
I forgot that it happened this year because it was that bad.
Because you're going to go to Walmart and places and start shooting you pictures of the DVD at the stores.
Okay, first of all,
I almost bought it the other day.
I want to bring this up because you're in the group. Why the hell do people need to buy every single version of the DVD? That one dude legitimately had 9 different versions of the DVD.
Oh, I know, because he's a weird completion.
Why is there 9 different versions?
Different countries, different covers, different versions. Hey, this one's got 5. This one's got 3 more minutes in it. This one has this particular cover in it. This one is a metal cover, metal sleeve, whatever.
Unless I got like some cool thing.
That's what I said.
Like if there was like a steel case, I'd be like
there is a steel case, but it was like Best Buy day one.
Right.
So, okay, that was cool.
Or
now,
if there's a Transforming case, because Transformers did that. There's an Optimus Prime case.
That's true.
The legs folded down, arms came up.
No, no. If you could combine the different cases or something, or if there was like different.
Don't give Saban ideas.
Oh,
next
God.
season of Power
combine
Rangers.
it all. But I don't understand why. Okay. That's neither here nor there. That is that one weirdo.
When we're not completionists, we don't care.
Now, I've done that with one other movie, and I can't remember which one it was, but they did have different cases depending on the version. And yes, I've done that for video games. When I had the Heroic and the Legendary Edition of Halo to get the cool stuff for that. But that's like stuff you get for it, not just another version of the movie.
Call of Duty used to do their like huge like care package thing.
Yeah. Okay. That's neither here nor there. That's the movie release. Let's talk about the movie itself. You guys know that I hate the Megazord. Pretty sure Dan is not a fan of the Megazord.
Yeah.
I know Nick is not a fan of the Megazord. So let's leave the Zords alone for now. So we talked a lot about just Zords. Let's talk about just the movie, the structure, the characters, and stuff like that. Like it's a review. Because we've all seen it enough to know what's wrong with it. I'll give it some credit. When they tried to do the cool teenage stuff, like growing the Rangers, giving us backstories, seeing them as people before they were Rangers. That was done well.
I enjoyed that.
And then they tried to make a Power Rangers movie.
Right.
So they did the Breakfast Club first. And that's really what it was.
Yeah.
We're on Saturday detention.
Yeah.
So they did the Breakfast Club first, gave us the Rangers, they gave somewhat usable backstories, except for Kimberly's issues, which is weird. I never understood why...
They focused a lot on that opening.
So her whole deal, and I've recently watched Everything Wrong With, it never made sense that... Okay, so she's hated because somehow there was like a dick pic or something of somebody.
She has they hinted at a naked or a topless pic of one of the girls that she was.
Was it one of the girls or was it one of the dudes?
It was one of the girls.
Okay, but then it got shared.
And she sent it around.
I think she sent it to one person and then it got spread, but she was the source.
But either way...
But they didn't necessarily give that enough attention for us to be like, okay, so this is why everyone hates her.
Which blows me away is how you can just glimpse over that, because that's a thing that people get arrested for. It's called revenge porn.
Yeah, it is revenge porn.
You get arrested for that.
Because I think it was a cheating, quote unquote, misunderstanding between her and her friend and her ex or somebody. Like somebody thought that she cheated and then blah 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 blah. But it was so confusing and not covered enough.
Teenage stuff.
The girl that the naked picture was of is supposed to be wholesome and innocent.
Yeah,
and
but
she was like, she's really a hussy.
Yeah.
And sent that to the dude that she was talking to that Kimberly liked.
Got it. Okay. But so you caught that more than I did.
Yeah. Well, it's because I caught Kimberly.
Well, everybody wanted to catch Kimberly. But then, like, shush. Primo. But, that whole backstory was so weird and, like, neglected. And we got none of her home life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas almost everyone else, we got their home life to a degree.
Yeah.
We got to see inside her house.
Yeah, you saw inside her house.
Mostly her bedroom.
From what little bit they put out is she was the popular cheerleader that got what she wanted. She was just bored.
But she was the popular cheerleader that got what she wanted.
But she was just bored. She didn't want to be, the I don't know, the Stepford wife.
The perfect
daughter.
little whatever. Yeah, she wanted to break the mold.
Yeah.
Break out of the mold a little bit. Which is fine. Which would have been a great story to focus on.
But it was so random.
But we got so much on other things. Like, they really hammered home Trini being gay. Nothing wrong with it, but they really wanted to hammer it through. That her family didn't want to accept it or anything.
Gay or bisexual.
So she swings
You
whatever.
don't know.
We don't know, but it's mostly gay.
Whatever was weird to her parents.
Yeah. Whatever broke the traditional molding
and
for her parents.
then and Zach was that weird loner, roaming dude.
He was like trying to make up for like his confidence with his home life. That was it wasn't terrible, but his mom was ill, and he was pretty much the one taking care of everything.
And that made sense.
Yeah.
But we almost didn't get enough of that at first. We get introduced to him where he's just this dude sitting on a rock, and we know nothing about him.
Very Asian.
Well, he's the...
That doesn't sound good.
What was his character's name in Breakfast Club? No, Dad, what about
Yeah.
him? He was him of the...
I guess that makes sense.
He was the loner, I'm on my own. Not really, because I have a heart and I take care of my mom.
Yeah. And he wanted to keep that home life stuff kind of secret.
Private, yeah.
Now, like I said, I like the way they tried to grow the Rangers individually. Make them characters, not just, hey, you're this stereotype. They were each their own stereotype. Like, Jason was the same deal as Kimberly, which is why they connected.
He's the redneck kid. Yeah.
But he was the all-state superstar football guy who wanted to rebel. He wanted to do anything but that because it's all he had ever been.
Right.
He wasn't just... He didn't get to be Jason. He got to be the football star.
Yeah.
And he didn't
The
want to do that.
small-town superstar.
Yeah. He didn't want to be that.
You.
Like, he didn't really want to be that anymore. And... Sure, he wanted to, once again, everybody just wanted to break out of their own stereotype, their own mold. They also wanted to be themselves, and none of them felt like they could be.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Which is fine, is how they came together, eventually.
I think that worked well.
But then you throw in a really angry dude in the wall, and a robot with an attitude.
Now, before we go into that, I really like that they... Because you don't see it in movies with main characters, at least.
Yeah.
The Billy's on the spectrum. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Billy was autistic in some way.
Yeah.
We know it. They obviously made that a deal. But he got better because of the friends.
Yeah.
It wasn't because of the powers that he gained.
No.
That may have had something to help him focus, realistically. But the fact that, he's definitely on the spectrum. He's something. But I feel like they almost wanted to push that a little too far. Billy was like more of a main character than anybody else.
He really was.
He was the one who got picked on.
He was the linchpin.
He was the linchpin to the team. He was the one who morphed first. He was the one who did... Because he was the one who was more open to everybody connecting and being friends.
Let's go back to the best series out of all the Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin.
Sure.
Billy was the one that was like, oh crap, we need something? Guess I better go build it.
Yeah, but he was the tech geek and the super smart one. Whereas this one was not.
So he saved
the tech guy
far more than he ever got credit for.
And he even stayed in that tech role for even the Zeo.
When he
no longer could morph. Yeah. Then he also aged that one time and had to go off to the Aquafina planet.
Yeah.
That's what it's
Aqua
called.
Rangers,
I'm calling it Aquafina.
I was like the whole planet Dasani.
Aquafina. But anyways,
Aquafina just sounds like a really like salty character.
It does. It sounds like a bad person from that
My
planet.
name is Aquafina.
Aquafina. Stretch it.
God. We digress.
The villain is Fiji.
Oh. Queen Voss.
Good lord.
Queen Voss.
Her cylindrical tower.
Oh man.
Okay.
All right.
That's definitely Aqua Ranger territory right there. Don't do that.
Sparkling
Don't do
like
it.
Her henchman.
Atlantis Rangers or something like
Dude,
that.
I'd watch it.
Maybe Atlanta Rangers would be a whole different story.
Okay. Yeah, everybody be talking about lemon pepper wings all the time.
But,
Nobody be arguing over who's up.
Character development.
I had a segue and you broke it.
Oh.
I was gonna say.
I was trying to get you back on track.
No, I was going there. I was gonna say with Atlanta Ranger, nobody would have to argue over who's actually the Black Ranger.
Ooh.
Like they did in this movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
However, that was a very racist joke. I'm sorry.
I thought that was funny.
Okay, I'm the Black Ranger. No, you're not.
No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, you're not.
So how does he glow black?
Well,
He was just letting out ink. He was just letting out black ink. Like, why? Okay, everybody wants to know why the water happened. The water transition into the... So they're swimming down, and all of a sudden they're swimming back up.
It was science.
There's no science in that.
That's a spaceship that's crashed. You don't know about alien science.
It would have been easier for it to be in the rocks.
Like,
They already jumped into a canyon.
Well, they were definitely trying to get away from the command center that we grew up with.
Yeah, they definitely got away from that. But
because who doesn't notice this command center on the side of a mountain? Love.
They just happened to be
Mighty
an
Morphin,
observatory.
but come on, how does that not get
And
noticed?
they were definitely trying to go for like, all right, it's secretive. It needs to be somewhere secret.
Who's really gonna
not
swim
an observatory in California.
Yeah.
Who's going to swim that far down that happens to find that water? Like,
but the fact that gravity didn't even have anything to do with it, they had to swim.
It was the coins.
Yeah, only the coins gave them the ability to do that.
It was the coins that let them
Now, so Zordon, does that have anything to do with the fact that Zordon, Zordon didn't throw him into the water. That happened with Rita's coin later. At the end, Rita's coin fell in the ocean or whatever. Yeah. Just some of the stuff didn't need to happen in that movie. I would have rather learned more about what happened to Kimberly than deal with the water.
They put it out there.
But I would have rather get a little bit more depth on the characters and maybe slightly bit more development than waste 10 minutes swimming upside down in water.
I honestly think they should have went with a different backstory because that is too big of a deal to be just glimpsed over.
Right.
That causes a lot. That destroys character. That's a lot.
Well, so does trying to beat up the autistic kid.
Who tried to beat up the autistic kid?
Remember the dude who kept bullying Billy until he tried to punch him and it just broke his hand?
That's either Bulk or Skull.
Supposedly. They didn't have a name by any means.
But that made that guy a villain.
But isn't it weird? Okay, Jason's character development was all about him breaking out of what he wanted to do and defying his dad. Mm-hmm. And of course, wasn't his dad on the boat that actually found Rita?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was his dad's
because
fishing boat.
One of his buddies or one of his coworkers
was the one that Rita sucked.
Yeah.
To death.
Dry. There you go. Yeah. Let's throw something else there.
She took his gold and then there's everything else. Talk about the ultimate gold digger. Went there. Okay.
So.
But okay, hold on. I want to go. Where did this take place?
Angel Grove.
Where in the U.S. did that take place?
That's the point.
Was not in California
I think that's
before.
The point. It's just supposed to be insert.
That was clearly the Pacific
town.
Northwest.
Yeah.
That was definitely like Washington or Oregon.
It was like 2 towns over from Twilight.
I was waiting.
Yeah, Kristen Stewart was like half a mile
making that dumbass face.
It's all right. I think she's pretty.
She's making stupid fucking faces.
She can make stupid faces.
Have you seen a new fragrance commercial she's in?
No.
Short hair. Anyways, speaking of short hair, how Kimberly cut her hair so perfectly in the bathroom with just a pair of scissors that she got from somewhere.
Hey.
Perfect haircut.
Let me break out of my mold.
I'm literally breaking out of my mold. Let me cut my hair off in the bathroom because
that makes
It can happen.
But realistically, they were like, they kind of led into it like she's got those scissors. She's so angry about what these girls have just done. You think that she's gonna do something like fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
And then she cuts her hair instead. And you're like, well, we're glad she went that way. Yeah. She looked like she was about to stab herself or someone.
But they should have had her, like, I don't know, cheat on a boyfriend or try and steal someone's boyfriend. Not send what they largely hinted at as a nude.
Yeah,
that's a major
sending
thing.
it. And I think it wasn't even like a massively, like a terrible nude either.
Like,
it was like
bad.
It wasn't
bad enough they couldn't show on screen.
Yeah, but I think, and it had to probably been filmed first, but it's almost like it. I had to check the time. We're running out. Kind of piggybacking on 13 Reasons Why in that aspect of this is how girls bully and how shit can go spiral out of control, but in this tiny little microverse of just Kimberly's issues.
Yeah.
But once again, we don't see her parents that I recall. We don't see any of her home life.
We pretty much met everybody's family except
but we got it with everyone else's.
But
we got Billy's crazy mom who loved Jason and just let him in because he's Jason. No explanation.
Well, no, let him in because Billy had a friend.
Billy had a friend too. That's right. Somebody else was because Jason. That's right.
And growing up, did you grow up in Texas?
I grew up here. Yeah.
Okay. So small town football's huge. When you're the football star, everyone's like,
"Oh, I know.
Your money's no good here."
Like, I just wasn't that.
You're
person.
just auto trusted at that.
Oh, trust me, I understand. There's still plenty of people I'm aware of that still have that effect.
So that's completely believable that he could literally walk up to.
No, I mean it's believable. What I'm saying is, everybody else you got to see their family and reasons why their home life sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Jason's overbearing father, Trini's parents who were just wonky and didn't accept her for who she was. I don't think we ever got anything out of Kimberly's parents, if I can recall.
Not that I remember.
And you got Zach's mom dying or being sick, whatever it was.
Sick, yeah.
Magically
Well,
healing.
they either needed to have everybody's family or nobody's.
Yeah.
Either way.
So they went 90%.
See, I just think that everyone
80%.
else's backstory needed that. Hers didn't. Her issue didn't involve her.
Well, I guess if she
was... that's the thing is, like you were saying, like, her issue was way bigger than it needed to be.
Yeah.
So then, like...
But she had no one to help her with it on her side. Yeah. That's where it could have helped. If she had a home life, she had family and stuff like that. Sure. I know it's a really weird thing we're talking about. But realistically, because that part of the movie had more depth than anything they did as Rangers. As a movie,
well, then everything
that was
else
nearly
after,
a complete movie.
Everything after that was just fast forward through it.
Fast forward through the 11 days it takes to become a Power Ranger.
Need a montage.
And on that break, we have to dump footage, guys. We'll be right back to talk more crap about this movie. Crap. Okay. Yeah, fucking A. Okay, so, sorry we had to do another footage dump. It happens. We have lots of dumps around here. Okay, we've been hating on the movie a little bit. Let's talk about some of the positive aspects real quick. Let's keep hating on it for a minute. Sorry, I'm getting behind myself.
Just kidding.
Okay. The suits. I'll talk about the suits. Yay or nay?
I think they could have scaled it back just a tad bit.
Fine with them, but I didn't love them.
Slightly less alien.
Yeah. Slightly less alien. Like I didn't hate them, but I felt like they could have just scaled it back.
I think the whole concept of having the morphin grid installed and everything was dumb. That's the big glowy parts of the chest, like the Megazord and all that. So basically, when the Megazord came out, they were like holding most of the morphin grid like in there, even though it was like just they're treating the morphin grid like it was the Force. It's just always there.
It was like way too much.
Everything.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be.
Kind of, but really, the morphin grid is more like the Speed Force.
The morphin grid's like.
Right, I think it's more like the Speed Force for the Flashes than it is towards the Force and Jedi. Does that make more sense? It's a legitimate source of energy.
Because you have to be able to tap into it.
Yeah.
So,
Force users make sense, but it's not really transforming you in a way. You're just manipulating other things with it. Whereas in the morphin grid, you access it, you gain power from it, and it changes you in other ways, stuff like that.
So no, I can get behind that.
Considering they got stronger and everything in their non-morph forms once they had their things. Oh, let's talk about one thing that didn't make any sense in the movie. The quarry escape. When they first find the coins and they're all piled in the van and they're trying to get out and then the van goes down the hill or whatever.
They're trying not to get arrested.
How did they get home? They were in a horrible car accident. Everybody wakes up at home.
The coins teleported them.
But they can't teleport in any other...
Power Rangers.
They don't know how to teleport, but the coins do.
But how do the coins know how to take them home?
This is
to their own beds. Like nothing happened.
When it
that's more of the science that they didn't touch.
When it paired with them, maybe it gained their knowledge, or it's able to tap.
That's just a lot more that they didn't touch on.
Or something.
I think that realistically, that was unnecessary. Like having them escape would have been better than having them survive a car accident somehow.
I think it's just
they went Megazord science on that.
It's their poor attempt to say this is how they teleport.
Well, that's the thing is
because Billy hasn't made.
They took the coins and like all this stuff. And tried to make it seem so much more immaculate, but they never touched on anything.
They didn't give enough explanation for a lot of things. They gave a whole lot.
Well, that's my thing.
But they gave a whole lot of exposition for a lot. But they didn't give enough in some aspects.
They were just trying to show that the coins.
I think what they needed was that they needed a means to an end and didn't have one, so they just cut. Because you saw the van and it being absolutely destroyed.
Well, and that's the thing is the whole time like it's Kimberly stuff.
But it didn't. I don't think they teleported. But they got home and into their own beds individually, somehow.
I totally think they teleported.
But in no other situation where they were in danger did they teleport
the thing
out.
is, I think you're looking too far into it. Like, how did the coins do it? I think it's more of a science where, like, since it's alien science,
I think it's a failure of a movie.
Hold on.
It's a movie failure.
Well, it's a movie failure, but then like you have to look at it as like, all right, we're gonna assume these people know what's going on because they're fans.
Or it's an adrenaline.
Obviously, that didn't happen.
Or it's an adrenaline.
Well, no, because then when they were trying
off her child type.
No, but whenever they were
triggered.
No, because if they had the same ability when they went to go fight Rita to get Billy back, they should have all been able to teleport out at that point from their own adrenaline.
Well, everybody
more danger sense.
She already knows how to tap into the ability.
I think you're just reaching.
And because I'm keeping an open mind.
I'm keeping an open mind because I want to know how it happened.
You're just going shit movie done. It's over.
It was a shit movie, but still.
No, but like there's still some science that we could have touched on, but they just rushed.
They could have gone, by the way, your coins teleported you home to safety.
Well, either teleported...
If they just thrown out a comment...
What I'm trying to say is there's a lot of alien science that they were just like, this is what it is, and you're going to accept it. Rather than us being like... accept it. Well, no, obviously. That's why you didn't
accept it.
Well, I'm not accepting it, but at the same time, like...
yeah, I'm not hating on it. I just want to know why.
Well, no. Well, that's the
bad
problem.
movie making.
Well, the problem is you're
explained away by alien tech.
The problem what you're going with is, like, I need to know everything and why it happens now.
But not always. But it's because when you have...
But that's what you want to look at it as.
But when you get exposition dumps throughout the entire movie for each character and every little thing, and then they do something stupid like that, you could tell that wasn't the decision where somebody went, oh, well, obviously. How do we... Screen wipe. And then,
then you're just putting too much thought into it from there.
Yeah. Maybe.
From there, you're just like, well, they should have just done that.
It's like the water.
It's
like the alien.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to go with. Yeah. It's like, all right, now we're just gonna have to imagine whatever.
Now, if they continue, like, say they make a part 2.
Yeah.
And they continue to do that, then I'll give your gripe 100% validity.
They'll continue to do
Their movie isn't the only one that's like guilty of it.
Star Wars.
Wasn't this by who did this movie? Wasn't it the dude who did Fast and Furious? One of them.
As far as directing and...
I thought it was the guy who did the first and second. I thought. I could be wrong.
But I mean, this isn't the only movie that's guilty of just like... No,
it's not.
You're going to have to assume. Not. And the problem with Power Rangers is we have such an extensive history with whatever we grew up with that they tried to give us this whole new aspect of it without giving us like science.
Enough. Yeah.
So like either he's like, all right, we're teleporting... Or even with science, like alien science,
you know what?
We woke them up and the kids walked.
What I would have preferred in that moment, instead of teleporting back home in their beds, basically waking up like a bad hangover, if they had teleported and woke up in the command center, like because they nearly died, but then the coins saving them would have made sense, and then Alpha, say he woke up early because the coins.
Well, and that's that other thing.
That would have been a better way to go. Well, don't you think?
Hold on, maybe it. Back on it tapped into maybe a memory of theirs or something. Trying to explain
forget explaining. What would be a decent alternative?
They haven't discovered the.
But would there be? I know, but what if they woke up in there because the coins teleported them to safety to the only place it would know to go?
But then
for sure would be the.
Well, and the other thing is there's other alien science where it's like, all right, the coins could have tapped in to where all the kids are from.
Yeah.
Because obviously the coins have a lot more science to them that we obviously didn't get because
it's a lot of science in math.
Because it can teleport on its own because it already did when Jason put it down, and then the next thing you know, it's in the next room with them.
We also remember that
sounds weird.
All the powers that they have, they're like, you're not going to get your powers till you tap into it like this. But Billy also subconsciously didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
So for all we know, that science could have like morphed them while they were asleep, and everybody got home.
Because they were running together.
Absurdly far-fetched.
Yeah.
But
there's literally a throwaway line would have been the way to go.
Yeah.
A throwaway line for a scene that made no sense.
What you noticed through the movie
they don't need a full explanation of, hey, we did this. Literally, if they just said...
Could have been a 2-minute conversation.
What you noticed through the movie is they try to focus way too much on that teenage, like, we do stuff and this is how it's going to... Now you got to deal with these random consequences, and everybody's like, what happened? You know...
They should have just found the coins. There really shouldn't have been a chase scene.
No.
It should have just been, let's get out of here before they show up, and then they just all get home.
Yeah. Or, if they did do the chase scene, like I said, what if it teleported them to the command center to safety?
But then that loses 20-some-odd minutes out of the film.
And that's okay, because the movie was way too long.
But
the movie was too long for what it was.
Then that takes away more...
For a movie to be this long as it was and only give us roughly 20 minutes of actual Power Rangers action was bad.
Which I think is fine because they didn't rush because if they would have rushed character development to give you more Power Rangers on screen,
but they could have done both simultaneously like the series did. And they could have done it in a movie.
But the series done over how many?
But it doesn't matter.
30 episodes.
Well, that's the thing that we have to remember is what they were trying to do is they're trying to disconnect. Yeah. Which the problem is.
They disconnected a little too far.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have to remember as the watchers is like, all right, they're disconnecting, but then we have to like be like, all right, that was way too much. That was way too much. You know.
What I would have liked, and I said this from the beginning. You and I probably talked about this. Somebody else might have too. What they could have done was very early on in the movie. Okay, so Zordon plants the coins. Go find the new people. Go find the new Rangers. Whatever. All the build up and all that stuff. Imagine if everything that happened to them at the beginning of the movie that we were seeing, all the bad crap happening to them, happened to them after they found the coins. So they found the coins, and then there's power slowly developed, not just like overnight developed. Mm-hmm. So they're building their powers, and then they come together because they found these coins. What if the coins were individual? They weren't together. What if the coins drew them together and they suddenly said, "Wait a minute, you've got one of those too?"
How would the coins not been together though? He literally
They
carried
could've-
them.
they
Millions of
gone-
years of anything.
They could have gone through like a whole like this is a family heirloom thing.
Yeah. Instead of like just
So
planting
you're
them in
saying
this
he's
one
not
spot.
burying them in the ground and blowing up the...
Yeah. Or maybe the
Because
tectonic
one of my
anything could
things
have raised them
I
out
think
there.
was way too much,
Yeah.
or they could have done it different. Was whenever they showed when Zordon had his ass whooped by
Yeah.
Rita,
Yeah.
and what they could have done with that was move that over to whenever the kids had powers or discovered this command center,
Yeah.
and Zordon could have been like, "Let me show you this history,"
Yeah.
and it could have been like
Actually show him getting his...
A
Yeah.
flashback instead of starting there and coming forward.
exactly. And I think
I
we
mean-
could have had something else at the beginning of the movie to bring all this in.
I think maybe I don't think a flashback. A flashback could have worked for sure.
matter what.
Actually, extra flashbacks from Zordon's stories would have made more sense than the very vague
And
stuff showing up.
all they
in
would have to
nothing
show at the
cloud.
beginning of the
Okay.
movie
Yeah.
was like him being like, "Go find the new Rangers," and then after that we'll see the rest of it later.
Okay, but you have to give me at least this. It's better than Space Dumpster.
I guess.
Those
I don't
two
know.
guys on the moon going, "Oh, what's this?"
Well, okay, it's better
Oh.
than that happening, except there was more to it in the original
Mhm.
Sentai. Like Zordon was this grand wizard and all this
Mhm.
other stuff like that, so that's how it happened.
Well, Zordon was also never a ranger.
He was never a ranger, although it was hinted at another point in the series that he might have been. But I liked Zordon being a previous ranger.
Yeah, I thought
that
was
totally
cool.
made sense. Rita being previous ranger was a little weird.
It's a
I was
little
fine with
weird,
that.
but I
It was
still
no, it's a nice tie
Absolute
up.
power corrupts absolute.
It was a nice
That's
tie
fine.
together, but why was she the only one who turned? Some Lord
'Cause
Zed
she's
must
just-
have gotten to her,
'cause she's
if I
just a-
remember
yeah,
correctly.
That's-
because
yeah.
she mentions there's
They
people
dropped.
that
They
are-
name drop Zed.
Yeah.
But I think one problem I have with this was throwing the Zeo crystal in there was pointless. They just needed the MacGuffin.
Yeah, they needed something.
But I
tie her
don't.
in.
But realistically, I think trying to resurrect Goldar as a weapon.
And not only was it the MacGuffin,
Would've
but they were
worked.
like, "All right, we need
That's
a
my
reason
big
to make a
complaint.
sequel."
We'll talk about it. Yeah. But I think the Zeo crystal being ultimate power, and I think it was only a piece of the Zeo crystal. I think it got split up. And I could be wrong. Okay, so it lands there. That's why they even came there in the first place, because she's looking for the Zeo crystals. Because ultimate power.
I
Zed
think
wants
this was the
ultimate
last
powers.
Zero Crystal that Zed needed.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was.
This was the last one that was left
the
on
last
Earth.
piece, something like that, if I recall, because they were all over the galaxy. But they barely mentioned it, I think, in the series. But why the Zords were even remotely dinosaur shaped
Mm-hmm.
was because they took on the form of the most powerful things on the planet
At the time.
at the time. But of course, they are aliens. But it's also they're getting that weird alien symbiotic deal. So even if they weren't all humanoid, there could have been other Rangers.
Right,
We never got to see them; they died off screen.
right.
Except I think we saw that one female ranger who was left that I think Zordon took her last crystal or something as she died.
It was the yellow.
Yellow Ranger.
Yellow Ranger.
I think that was a nod to Trini from back in the day, I think, potentially.
They had a lot. They had a couple.
They had a whole lot of stuff from back in the day. But I think there was good parts to this movie.
There was a
We'll
lot
talk
of
Now,
about
good-
it.
real quick, did you see the big controversy over the Yellow Ranger's poster?
No, what?
Okay, so I can't remember her name. But the lady that played Trini died
Yeah.
in a car accident.
Yeah, the original one. Yeah.
One, I forget the
Trini.
exact verbiage, but one of the original posters for her made reference to not needing a driver's license to drive a Zord. So there was a
Why would that even be a controversy? That's stupid.
because she died in a car accident.
Yeah, but that not because. Well, I
Well,
don't
a
know.
lot of people get butthurt for stuff.
Yeah.
They get better.
There-
I mean, it might have been mildly insensitive, but then again,
But still, how did PR
Well, okay.
let that get through at all?
okay, well, look at it this way. There was movie posters of Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows that had towers exploding that they wouldn't show here in the U.S. because of 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
But they existed outside of here. It was actually an Australian poster for the Ninja Turtles movie that had...
But they weren't the twin towers that were
no,
exploding,
it was
were
just
they?
explosions.
But
Okay,
anything
then
in
that's
New York.
just a
But anything
really
that's
far
a-
But that's a
stretch.
very vague stretch
Yeah.
that somebody would, you
Even
know
if
what,
it's
this is
vague, if
offensive.
it's even relatable, then it's just like,
Yeah.
That's
But
just
I mean,
ridiculous.
it wasn't a purposeful, insensitive thing to the original Toy Tran.
right.
No, I understand it's not, but it's a
Yeah.
direct relation to
It was a bad
they're
idea
making
for
a
that person,
driving
yeah.
joke.
But realistically,
And she
that
died
should have
in a
been
car
on
accident.
Zach because of his dumbass decision to jump in his Zord. Which, by the way, did he just flat out plow through the side of a mountain to get
Yes.
out of there?
Yes, he
Yeah.
did.
Because they were inside
Yeah.
either a cavern or the ship itself. I don't even.
They
didn't
plowed
say.
through a mountain.
No, did anybody? Oh, good lord.
Driver's ed
No.
not required is what it said.
Oh, okay. That does sound pretty bad. Now, did anybody else think that they did that cool shifting thing in the command center where everything was rotating and all of a sudden everything went. Were you thinking that maybe there was going to be like a kind of Voltron-esque, everybody goes off to their Zord in a different direction? Because there were like 5 different directions.
That would have been cool.
That would have been much cooler than all the Zords are just standing in a cavern waiting for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was...
and especially when you think that like this is a giant ship, so you would think that would be there.
They'd have
it depends on how much of the ship was left after the crash.
Because the crash and the big...
Which, if you think... I guess with that theory, it could have been there.
Yeah.
But as soon as the ship crashed, they probably like harvested them and put them off in the side.
Maybe. Or maybe they just forgot what they were writing halfway through that. They went Transformer style and wrote one thing one day and forgot about it the next.
We'll put them in a cavern.
Okay, some of this movie does flow like a bad Michael Bay movie. Like a bad Transformers movie.
Unpopular opinion, I like all the Transformers movies for what they are. A movie about giant fighting robots.
Nick and I have different opinions on that.
Because
when we did that because literally, like, I've said it since the 3rd movie.
It's don't make sense.
No, but I think literally day to day, they threw out the script from the day before and forgot what they were doing, and then went in a new direction. Because so many different directions those movies go, plot lines.
Or they completely forgot about the previous
There were legitimately 5 plot lines in The Last Night. Yeah, 5. 5 plot lines and 2.5 MacGuffins.
2.5.
Because the chick was half of, or no, I'm sorry, the Excalibur was half of a MacGuffin.
Mm-hmm.
So fucking dumb. Okay. So fucking dumb. Okay, let's keep going. Let's stay on track. They got into one battle as the Power Rangers, fighting on ground with the putties. Mm-hmm. That fight was done well. That was like old school style.
I enjoyed it.
Now the putty design themselves, not a terrible idea. The second time they came about was a little bit more of a stretch. They're coming out of the ground made of concrete and stuff like that. The details were cool. I will give it that.
Well, there's elements. There's the same elements in that concrete.
I know, but I just like. Okay, I'm very slowly getting around to the giant putty, that was Goldar.
They took the most awesome henchman,
the most badass guy ever, as we talked about earlier,
and just
turned him
into a mindless.
Realistically, he was a Zord.
Yeah.
But the worst tie-in and worst executed line of the entire movie. Make my monster grow. It was said so badly by Elizabeth Banks. It didn't technically apply because Goldar wasn't tiny and then got bigger. He was always big. It was more like assemble my monster. Mm-hmm. It was so bad. They just wanted that tie-in, and I hated it. I hated it so much. I also didn't understand why Rita needed gold to regenerate herself because that at no point was mentioned.
It's probably what her power source was.
Well, I mean, recovering gold to make Goldar totally made sense. Why was she eating jewelry? To regenerate herself.
She's a thought.
God damn it, man.
No! That's what the thing is, like, we have to watch it.
She did have dreadlocks.
We have to watch it in a way where, like, and obviously we didn't do it because, like, we hate it.
Well, she's an alien.
But,
maybe her alien race.
But the thing is we're not going to accept how it's going to happen. But there's so much disconnection.
Yeah.
You know.
Forget the disconnect from the source material. It didn't make any sense in the movie.
No.
It made no sense in the movie. If they gave it a reason to make sense, even a throwaway line, or said, okay, she needs gold to survive because of her mutation from being evil, whatever, something. And yeah, I'm a detail-oriented person, but when something happens in a movie that is a scene, they make sure you see it happening. This is something that's important, and then don't tell you why it's important.
Draining the life force from the guy, I totally get.
Yeah, sucking the life force out of someone to gain her life back totally made sense.
Right.
If she was grabbing up gold and had like a thing to put it in,
unless she was just like
something with that staff.
Unless
the staff was regenerated by gold because it was gold.
Because
and it had the connection to her coin, so her power was linked to Goldar.
One thing, I guess,
but she never morphed again.
It's a stretch.
That kind of made me sad.
And this is something you and I are gonna have to keep an open mind about. Is that staff could have been given to her by Zed,
which makes sense.
Which, if that was given to her by Zed could have been like, this is now the thing that will curse you, and if you don't get it,
if the staff was the key to Goldar, which makes sense.
Right.
And she had to regenerate that from however much gold. We didn't even talk about how much, but of course she needed thousands of tons of gold to make Goldar, and gold is heavy. Mm-hmm. So he realistically would have been sinking through. Anyways, I'm going very MatPat on that. That makes sense given the staff because that would alter her power. She's not a normal Power Ranger, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Also, why she would be doing a lot of the things she did. So if she was given Goldar by Zed to get the Zeo Crystal. Which the whole point of Goldar was to literally break through the protective shield or whatever around the staff. And I don't... Yeah, I did. Okay, sorry, I was looking at the timer. When it doesn't show the remainder, I always forget that means that I've got plenty, not nearly none.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it was just literally like, we need like a tagline just for it to go. I wish Rita got more development.
Yeah.
But she had nothing to do except wander around, say stupid things, and somehow learn to interact with humans. Which with the Krispy Kreme, I thought that was fine.
She's a 5.
There's a lot of people who complained about that.
Although the Krispy Kreme tie-in was way too heavy.
Product placement.
I loved it.
Way too much product
Come
placement.
on, Apple's product placement
No.
every.
It was the heavy-handedness, not to mention the fact that it was okay. The MacGuffin is literally under our product placement.
Right.
I mean, they couldn't have like screwed the cap off of a Pepsi bottle anymore.
I laughed so hard. I loved it.
That is the equivalent of the Matrix of Leadership being inside a Bud Light truck in a Michael Bay movie. That is literally the equivalent of that happening. And how ridiculous would that shit be?
I think it'd be awesome.
But would it not be absolutely ridiculous?
I mean, like I said, Apple product places everywhere.
Apple's actually not as bad as like Samsung and Sony. They're way worse. They really are. They actually, I think Samsung had a lot in this movie, if I remember correctly. But I mean, like
Samsung had a lot to make up for.
They do. Okay, so since let's talk about the Zords just a little bit. We're gonna leave it for a little bit, but the individual Zord design was not terrible.
No,
the T-Rex was fine. All of them were fine except the Mastodon.
Yeah, I like the Spideron, personally. However, the toys are bad. The design themselves is actually pretty neat.
The price point that they made for the toys is retarded.
Well, $100 for all 5, and they are huge for what they are. They're beyond deluxe size.
$20 a piece.
They're about 20. They were roughly $20 a piece, but the T-Rex was more. It was like 30 or 35, but it's also biggest. The parts forming aspect of it was a little bit beyond normal Power Rangers level.
Yeah.
Plus, you had a giant hole in the side of the T-Rex chest after you.
There's just so much hollowness to it.
Okay, well, let's leave the toys aside because we know the toys are bad. The lights and sound one is pretty neat.
Yeah.
That actually could replicate what the movie looked like. The combining toys could not.
I'll admit the Build-A-Figure, like...
The Build-A-Figure wouldn't be bad either.
No.
Okay, but the actual individual Zord designs weren't bad. They were alien in nature, yes.
I actually really enjoyed the saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah, the tiger was really cool.
I liked the tiger a lot.
Why did...
The T-Rex.
I think they gave Kimberly like so much to do because, like you said, Kimberly before in the original series got nothing to do in the pterodactyl. This, she was literally the spotter. She was the saving everybody. She was picking up Zords and carrying them elsewhere. Yeah. Like she did every damn thing. What did the Triceratops and Mastodon do other than run around town looking for Krispy Kreme?
They were like, we gotta go.
Well, they were busy looking for the Krispy Kreme, and then they were the last.
They eventually got to come in and help try to push Goldar
They gave
back.
the 2 goofballs something to do.
Yeah. But I like those could have been really good weapons. We never got to see the Mastodon use its quote unquote spider powers because apparently it could throw webbing, according to the toy. Imagine if
weird.
It did. It had a web that it threw with.
Yeah, it's got like a little web thing that it launches.
It could fling webs. So there's a reason it had 8 legs because it is very spider based.
Yeah.
So you got to think once again, alien symbiotic idea of dinosaurs.
Well, yeah, and
if they tried to replicate dinosaurs that were immediately wiped out right then, it would have been a little harder for them to come up.
Well, not only that, and if we think about like, there was a whole separate team. So what was the Team Zords?
That's true.
Already, before they took on the Earthly.
Actually, because the T-Rex may have been from Earth, the Mastodon, not really a Mastodon.
They came from an alien thing to begin with, and then they just change into whatever.
Right. So for all we know, whatever the Zord was before it was a Mastodon.
So they have
could have
protoforms.
been something spider-like.
So realistically, the Zords had protoforms like Transformers.
Like Transformers.
Yeah, like on Beast Wars.
Yeah. So they would have to scan whatever planet they're on and adopt the most powerful thing. Which, when we get to if there's somehow going to be a Dragon Zord in the future for the Green Ranger,
right?
If they do a second one, there will be. The Stinger clearly calls out Tommy Oliver.
We know that, but we also don't know if that Tommy Oliver is a boy or a girl. They left that vague on purpose in case they bring in another female.
It's a boy.
You wouldn't put it past them. You would not put it past them for it to be a female.
I don't think they'll go that far. They're not going to change the sexes of a character. No. No.
I would not put it past them.
Anyways.
Would not put it past them. Because that would be Tommy's problem. Anyways. But anyway, okay, so...
Tammy Oliver.
No, Tommy with an I. And a heart.
Anyway.
Heart dot. Green heart dot.
So...
Anyways, where are we fighting Rita? Rita kills Billy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Billy gets Deus Ex Machina by the Morphin Grid instead of resurrecting Zordon.
Which, let's look at that. Zordon's kind of an evil bastard.
Okay, Zordon's an asshole in this movie. Let's be honest.
That kind of threw me for a loop. I'm secretly going to take over your body.
Well, he needed the Rangers to exist so the Morphin Grid would have power, so that he could use it to resurrect his body. He didn't need someone's body. He just needed the power from them.
I think that was way too much of a disconnection for me.
Yeah,
Zordon was
way out
But
there.
Zordon was only a fighter. He was a soldier, but the leader of the group.
Do you think maybe he was going to try... Maybe Alpha had his body somewhere? I don't know.
No, they didn't have any body left. But the Morphin Grid had the ability to
Regenerate
we could have regenerated him, period.
Okay, so
they were going to regenerate his body, his soul, and everything like that. So his soul and mind and everything. Soul.
They needed
was in the wall.
They needed a Full Metal Alchemist. One to trade.
That actually would have made more sense to install him in Billy's dead body, but then he would have tried to take over that Red Ranger again. But his character development. Look, I'm not the Red Ranger anymore. You are. Mm-hmm. You're now the leader. But like coming at them with the knowledge of how to fight and what they needed to do to come together, stuff like that. Totally made sense.
That did, yeah.
And the fact that he woke up abruptly after being dead, not knowing that he's now stuck inside a spaceship. So yeah, he had a lot of frustration. Give me back to life. I need to finish this fight. For him, the fight literally just ended minutes ago.
Right.
So, for him, he didn't know. So the instant shock of that totally makes sense. Him being on this planet, humans didn't exist then. So now he's like, what the heck's going on? But then him start talking about human bodies and stuff like that was weird. But
well, it cranked me because I wanted to be like, or have some character or Alpha be like, well, you weren't able to beat Rita, so what makes you think you can do it this time around? And just waste the whole movie.
Yeah.
I was like, and Zordon, we grew up with Zordon. He is not an asshole. He's the most he's positive.
He's the embodiment of all good. Literally, because when he dies, he
his essence is so pure and good that he turns into that. Yeah. Now it's just some dude yelling in a wall. Yeah. Now we've got Heisenberg in a wall yelling at his little Jesse robot.
Yeah.
But then if you think about it in that aspect, it's hilarious.
But then again, by the time
Jesse, let's cook.
You see Zordon in the Mighty Morphin. He's been trapped for a long time.
Right.
Has known of his entrapment. So
stupid
can plan accordingly. Where this one he just woke up, so he's kind of mad.
But then they realistically in the original series and all that, Zordon's been around forever. But he's trapped in that other dimension, and you can just watch what's happening. They had no Power Rangers except for the old West Rangers, but we're not talking about that retcon. Cancer. They retcon those Rangers in the Old West. But, sorry, I'm stuck in thinking about that episode now. Whereas the White Ranger was literally a White Ranger. Anyways, I'm still stuck in it. I'm thinking Tommy Oliver in a white cowboy hat. Sorry. I'm stuck there. It's terrible. Zordon being a dick didn't make any sense. Alpha training the Rangers was fun.
Mm-hmm. I actually enjoyed that.
I think the 11-day, we're going to need a montage. I think giving any arbitrary time limit to that made no sense. They didn't need that.
No.
Because then it's literally like, okay, Rita has to find all the gold in Angel Grove because she's not gaining all the gold from the world, just the gold from immediately around the area because all of that must have been made from Goldar.
Right.
In theory.
Because
that's where all gold comes from. Huh?
They did need it, though, because it put the time...
They did state that there was a gold mine, and it totally makes sense that they're mining what's left of Goldar. So they're ignoring the fact that it potentially had a large humanoid shape. Mm-hmm. They just don't know it,
Which makes sense in that kind of small town.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a small town and they had a history of this is how our small town came along.
Also makes sense that it's on the West Coast and the Pacific Northwest where they got fishermen and gold mining.
Yeah.
Except where the hell is there a gold mine in modern day in America? There's not really, I don't think. Either way, it's a movie. I don't care.
Except in Angel Grove.
It's a mine that they abandoned right before they got to the gold.
Yeah.
So they were like, there ain't no gold in these hills.
So the Zords and everything are over here, completely away from all the stuff where everything happened. Everything else happened right here in this mine. That's where the coins are. That's where Goldar is. And all this stuff. But the actual command center crashed way over here. and has nothing else to do with it.
No, it's holding the same Corey.
No, it's not. Not even close.
I bet it's right on the other side.
It's not, because remember, you see the ship come down.
Okay.
You remember you see the ship come down way away from Zordon. Yeah. The coins would have been right where Zordon laid down.
Yeah, we're going to have to force yourself to just watch this crap.
I'm going to watch it again after all this, but I'm going to be very drunk while doing so.
Didn't mind it.
We need to have a drinking night and watch this movie.
Some changes that I would have made, but I didn't mind it.
The changes that we would have made, and it's not the nostalgia factor that really wants us to have the changes.
Now, I did go in with an open mind in this way.
Yeah.
Where I was like, you know what?
It's
not made for me. Like, it's made for us.
Yeah.
But it's not made for me.
No,
I've had my time.
Yeah.
And whatever little kids grow up with this, they can think that Kimberly was a slut.
Hence the dumb humor about jerking the bull off.
Yeah. That was so dumb. That was completely unneeded.
That's made for today's youth.
But what I thought, if they were gonna make a new Power Rangers generation and make it a movie separate from everything we've had before, make it totally separate. Give it something new instead of taking everything based, or take the original premise.
That's where I think the disconnection was weird.
Yeah,
is because they were like, all right, we want to do this, but then when they reached in, it was like you're reaching for something and then you pull your hand back way too quick.
Yeah,
you know, and you're just like,
you need to dig a little deeper.
Yes, it was like you either need to reach for it or don't at all.
You either need to go full nostalgia with a shiny new coating,
right,
or you need to do take a tiny basis from the original and make something new from it. Right. And I mean a small basis. Like, okay, we don't need the same name of the characters. That doesn't matter. That was applying to us. Right. That has nothing to do. That's because kids who saw it are not going to go back and go, wait a minute, this was something back when my parents were little? Okay, I'm going to go watch it. They're not going to do that. Right. They're not going to do that. They don't care. They want to know what's here and now.
Right. Like the fact that they even wanted to do, they're like, you know what? These are alien powers. You know, this is a whole separate thing. I was like, you know what? I can be okay with it.
But it was always alien powers. Yeah. It was. But the thing is...
Well, they made it more alien-esque rather than just...
Yeah, alien-based.
Where they reached out at it, it was more alien-based. It was a lot more like, I'll say Transformers-ish, where everything was from out there and not just Earth-based. I was okay with that.
That's fine. I didn't have an argument with that.
You know, and it's just like all these things is like, you know what? If you're going to do all this, like, make your own powers. Cool, make all this. But then whenever you try to reach in for it, and then you try to ball it up, and you're like, all right, look at it, you're gonna like it, and you're just like,
no.
You just basically took it in a wad and just tried to put it out there.
Yeah, I have more of a problem with it as a movie. Like, honestly, just as a movie should function. That's where my main problem is. It's a bad movie.
That's my thing. Is like, I think he's okay with it because, you know what, I'm accepting it.
You're not analyzing it as a movie. You're analyzing it as a fan, and you want to see
it's a movie about giant fighting
exactly.
robots.
Yeah. Where I think
Pacific
you and I
Rim
look at
was
it, where we're expecting...
Pacific Rim was a great movie.
And that was a great movie built well.
I think you and I would say just expecting like everything from the show.
Yeah.
But they tried to take the elements from how the show worked and applied it to a movie format, which absolutely
and they already proved that doesn't work even with established characters and established powers and everything. Now the original Mighty Morphin movie worked only because they were going into an established universe and making a new story of it. Going back and doing an origin, which is always hard nowadays, especially for something making a brand new origin for something, easy because you're going from nothing. Trying to take something that exists and making a new origin.
Well, in the original movie, they didn't disconnect so far from it where you were just like...
But then they also played back into it into the series. They didn't say that exact same way they got their ninja powers by any stretch of the imagination. And as we talked about, we love the movie suits that they should have brought into the series. That would have been awesome. The armored suits.
They need to look more.
If they came somewhere in between the original movie suits and the new stuff, like if there was a median between that, I think that's where they should have been.
But I think that movie should have actually... The first movie, canon.
Right.
Well, canon. Close enough to canon. Where the Turbo Power Rangers movie was more or less how they I think they did that in the series, right? It was actually the movie, and that was the beginning of the series?
Kind of, sort of.
I thought it was. I thought that's what they did.
They did the movie, but the movie tied in a lot more with the show, where you could be like, you can either have this one or this one.
But it was so
either
close.
Way of them, either way, they make sense.
I think if they had done the same thing with the first movie and been like, okay, well, this Ivan Ooze thing was shitty, and all this other stuff, and now we got these new ninja powers, and just picked up from there, I think that would have been perfectly fine. Like, even with the downgrade and the suits and all this stuff, making it more TV-esque, that would have been great.
Right.
Now, we don't get the ability to have this new movie as a series. We don't get to see these characters develop over 52 episodes.
And that's what they're going to have to learn if they do a sequel, is not to apply these TV theories from Power Rangers to that second movie.
It's always hard to take a serialized format and condense it into a 2.5 hour movie. Transformers has been dealing with that for 15 years now, 20 years now.
Right.
And they've never done it right since the first one.
And I think the thing is with like Transformers, they have trouble is their series just like keeps going. You know, as opposed to Power Rangers where we have the benefit of having just new stuff.
Well, the thing is also with the I actually know what you're saying now. But the guys who made this Power Rangers movie were Power Rangers fans.
Right.
They loved the original. They loved Mighty Morphin, and they wanted to make their own homage to that.
Right.
Whereas Michael Bay had never even seen Transformers when he got into the Transformers movies. And if I remember correctly, the Transformers 4 was made for his kids.
Right.
And honestly, I don't even believe that the people that made these Power Rangers movies were, like, fans.
They had to have been fans, but they had to make the studio be happy.
Oh, hey, I watched this at one time when I was
they
a
were
kid.
probably more
I remember this show.
Yeah.
They weren't fans.
Yeah. Well, let's go. Well, they couldn't copy it directly by any means. They would have, but they couldn't. Okay, so let's talk Final Battle in that show.
Didn't like the Voltron pods.
Okay.
I wanted one cockpit.
Exactly.
One cockpit.
We all talked about that. It made no sense. Even though the toy gave it away. The toy gave it away that they were all in their own Zords. But that makes it so much harder to control something.
Yeah, it emphasized having to work as a team.
Which is okay.
So I understand the purpose, but I still think it's stupid.
Okay, here's the other thing that made no sense, and we talked about this before. Why the hell were their faces exposed when they were in the Zords?
All about money. Actors want more
The actors wanted more money
dumb.
instead of CG things. But, they could have done what Iron Man does.
And just have the inside...
Yeah, inside the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think would have been cool, instead of being exposed in an open cockpit where you can see the people, which is retarded... Because, hey, where am I going to aim on this next shot? Hey, how about directly at the cockpit of that person? It's completely exposed.
Right.
Make it blend in and use their helmet as the frickin' visor so they can see. That would have made way more sense. Even in the movie would have made way more sense.
Oh, I know.
And it would look better.
It should have been an internal cockpit like Gundams are.
Yeah.
And, the visor...
Or it could have done with any of the series.
Or like a Zoid's cockpit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what about like any other series does where, all 5 are in the same cockpit and say to work together they have to move together because it moves with them. They're not moving joysticks and shit. I never understood the ability. They're trying to pilot it all together, all moving their own controls. They never made any sense. Same problem Voltron has, but,
I think the only Power Rangers series that emphasized on that was the one you hate, Jungle Fury.
Yeah.
Where they actually had to move all as one.
Yeah.
For it to actually happen.
And that was only 3.
Yeah.
But also that Megazord was garbage.
It was.
All of the add-ons were also garbage. Anyways, but just we've never gotten an explanation as to why the Megazord just happened, other than we've got to work together, and then Megazord happens.
All they did with that was just another. Oh, it's the morphing grid thing. You have to, and I was just like, that's.
No, it literally should have been, hey, what's this? It's like Zordon would have like back in the day should have literally said, hey, by the way. Your Zords can make a bigger thingy if you all learn to work together. Or even tell them that's what they have to do, and they will get there.
There was no communication between Zordon.
No, there wasn't, and they should have had the ability to.
If anything, Alpha
all
should have been like, all right, guys, you're getting your butt whooped. You have one more way to do this, but it takes a lot. Like they could have even done the whole like, you guys have to work as one kind of thing.
Yeah, some kind of instruction. It would have made sense that the Megazord happened. Not they fell in the hole. Oh darn! Are they dead? No, we know they're not dead. We haven't seen a Megazord yet.
And then you got to see
you got to see some goop kind of moving around because there was no actual transformation or combination. Which honestly, even given today's technology, they could have made something happen.
Which is where the toy is just.
That's why the toy is crap.
Gross.
Because they didn't even know how they were going to make it happen.
Yeah.
But also, some people are like, well, because the Zeo Crystal also empowered them, made them stronger, and that's why it happened. No, that's not what happened.
That's not how the science works.
Yeah.
How do you feel about him having dual swords?
Dual swords?
Yeah. He had 2 swords. And
they get a power sword, and then the Red Ranger's tail also turns into another sword.
No, I know the toy did, but in the movie they didn't use the sword, did they?
No, yeah, they did.
Okay, I can't remember then.
Yeah. Basically, the parts of the pterodactyl turn into the sword. And I think he only draws one, but shows the second.
Well, because I know with the toy, the wings only just plugged onto the back, and the rest of the pterodactyl was the sword, but also the T-Rex tail was. But I'm so dumbfounded by it, I forgot that they even had one. So I remember Goldar making one, and they're like, oh crap, he's got a sword.
Yep.
And then I think that was after Rita joined him, if I remember correctly. I can't remember. I blocked the whole last 10 minutes of that movie out.
She tapped into her Zord.
When she tapped in it, literally laid into it and got pulled up into the cab. It made sense that that's how it would be, but it should have evolved even further. Something. That it gained her power directly should have been more powerful.
It also goes back to the point we were talking about that maybe gold is her power source.
But she's the power source for Goldar.
Being embedded into it.
Well, that probably is like all that gold staff science.
And Goldar
it had to be more the staff than anything.
May just be a mental embodiment.
I think Goldar's literally just like one of the putties, just follows the order. He wasn't given any consciousness. It's literally she can summon him.
Either that, or because if, like I said, there's a whole history that they have not
that they didn't give us.
Touch on.
Yeah.
Like I said, Zed could have given her this staff. Goldar could have been a whole person.
Yeah.
That she knew.
Yeah.
And he turned him into that thing.
Maybe.
Which is part of her obsession.
This is where her backstory would have been
because the staff was bone.
It was gold.
Well,
it was gold and spiny.
She had some sort of bone with her.
Well, and like my thing is, you even hear her say, she says something, my friend.
Yeah.
Whenever she's summoning him. So that tells me, I'm like, all right, either something happened to him, and that obsession with gold is probably something that she could have been like slightly in love with.
Well, if she
maybe that's why she reached out to Zed after losing said friend.
Because that could have been a whole like, hey, can you save my friend thing.
There's so much there that we don't get a history of, and honestly feels like it needed it. Just a little. A tiny bit of they could have done more with it.
But it also gives them so much that they could work with in the second movie.
But why do we need that backstory in the second movie when Goldar's not even going to be around? It doesn't even matter.
You don't know.
Well, and that could be like I said, a whole Zed thing.
Rita's not coming back in the next one.
You don't know that.
I'm pretty sure they said she's not. They're bringing Zed in if they're doing the next one.
Who's to say Zed doesn't find her?
Isn't she dead?
Wasn't she dead at the beginning of the movie?
Yeah, but that was a different kind of dead. If she lost her coin, she didn't. She had her coin when they rescued her. She was right there. She had her coin. That's how she got resurrected. Without her coin, without her source of power, and getting that much of a beatdown.
And the thing that we have to like wait for is, all right, is Zed really that like? Is he this like godly powerful?
Because if he is, he could just be like, and you're back.
Because the thing is, like we said, if the Zeo crystals are that powerful and he's harvested
so many
the other ones.
If the Zeo crystals were so powerful, then Zordon could have used it to bring himself back. But he didn't. He had to rely on the Morphin Grid. He could only try to do it once. Because
it would have destroyed the planet if removed, is what he had.
Would have destroyed Angel Grove at least.
The planet. That's the life force of the planet.
That's stupid.
Which is why they hadn't yanked it out, because they were like, if he takes this out of Earth,
that's stupid. They shouldn't have made that. I bet they retcon that.
So that's my thing.
How much I bet they retcon that?
We have to definitely wait to see what happens with that story.
If they do the sequel, which they'll do the sequel because they're stupid. I bet they retcon the Zeo crystals. I bet they do.
I hope they don't. They've left it there. Just leave it alone.
If they pull what they did with the first movie and showed us what happened, then they're gonna do that again with the second movie where Zed's like,
or they'll find some way to safely extract it, use its power source to continue powering the planet, and.
So basically,
let's put an observatory on top of it.
Do.
So what it is they're literally gonna have to bullshit their way through it because they limited themselves so bad story wise.
We have to build the Krispy Kreme back up.
Okay, so
and they left too much.
I will say there's one last thing that I have a problem with, and I brought this up before, and then we'll go into the good. Okay, so one last problem, and you and I talked about it last time. I think you couldn't even come up with an answer. Why did Jason have a totally different sword at the end?
It's because it's something that got cut out of the film.
If there's a cut. There's got to be guys. If you've seen this, let us know because there's no deleted scene that we know of yet, where Jason got this power sword from Zordon that designated him as the leader.
Because fighting the putties, he has an energy sword.
The one comes out of his hand, just like we've seen, and they all should have had that power, not just him.
And then
they never do it
at
again.
the end of the movie, he's returning an sword.
But it was that same goes over his hand type. But it was its own thing. It wasn't growing out his arm. And it was a full-on sword. And he puts it into a holster that clearly the sword was meant to go into. So, if this was a thing that designated him the leader, blah, 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 never got a story, never got nothing about it, but I do remember Zordon bitching about something about a sword, or I'm going to leave, what did he say at the end? I'm going to give this back to you until...
when you're ready.
When you're ready. Or something like that. Nothing. No backstory, no history, no why the heck. Okay, where was this during the fight? He probably could have actually put up a good fight with this.
Watch. That's a plot point for the next movie. It's going to be a scene.
The next movie doesn't have to explain anything that happened in this one.
But they need ways to tie together.
No. The next movie should not have to explain anything that happened in this one. It should be parrying off of anything that did happen.
Have you ever watched Doctor Who?
That's different.
No,
that's Doctor Who.
There's
this
entire
is not time
seasons
travel.
that go by, and then they finally say, "Oh, that's
something.
Scene,
No, that's something
why
that
happened."
Yes, but that's different.
And that's how they link each.
But that's also what happens
together.
with time travel. We're not
But you
talking
can
about
do
time
that
travel.
with the movie.
We have to understand
I'm gonna
that.
punch you again.
Don't
bother. I'm
don't
just gonna
care.
punch you.
Just punch me. I don't care.
Yeah.
We have to understand
bleep
that
every
at
single
the
time.
end of the day, these guys who make these movies don't care about us nerds.
No, they don't.
They really don't.
Okay.
And I've had this conversation with Carlos before.
Yes.
Because Carlos has to rip on every comic book movie that comes out on the
They
planet.
don't care.
Most of them
These people do not care about the nerds. Obviously, we are a demographic,
Yeah.
so they have to cater to us in a way.
But they're also creating new nerds.
Yeah,
They're coming out with the movie nerds.
yeah. But these movies don't care about us.
No.
They didn't care.
But Power Rangers is significantly worse than Marvel or DC.
Yeah.
Well, okay, hold on. They're not necessarily worse than DC. DC's really fucking bad.
New poll for the video: Who's worse, DC movies?
Hold on, yes.
Or
Good point.
Or the Power Ranger movie,
What's worse, the Power Rangers movie?
or Batman vs Superman?
No, I'm not going there. I'm going Suicide Squad, because they're both a group having to come
Suicide
together.
Squad, Batman
Which
vs
is worse?
Superman.
Okay, which is, guys, asking you in the comments down below, which is worse, this Power Rangers movie as a movie, as things that made sense, this or Suicide Squad? Which is worse? And throw in BVS just because.
Yeah.
Because
But yeah.
a lot of the problems with BVS are actually fixed in the Ultimate Edition with all the cutscenes. Now, if they give me an extended version
But
of
it's
the
not Batman vs Superman, but that's a different video for a different
Yeah.
time. I guess.
Well-
No, the Batman v Superman movie, they did an Ultimate Edition that put back in all the cutscenes that actually made plot points make sense.
Well, that's fine, but it's not the story arc of Batman.
No,
vs
we're not talking
Superman.
about that. We're not talking about the Dark Knight and all that.
No.
That's a whole different story.
But
that's what we wanted to see.
That's the thing we have to understand.
But
Is like,
Frank
these
Miller
movies
did
are
Power
not
Rangers.
made for us,
Yeah.
so we're going to be triggered regardless.
Yeah.
We're going to be.
But
like,
here's the thing.
There's going to be 90
We're
things
the
in the
ones who could
first 2
afford to go to
minutes.
see these movies.
Like
We're the ones who thought about buying the
we're
toys
the ones
until we
who
looked at
thought we're still a small
The toys are
demographic. Guess who has more money than us?
Yeah.
Susie Q, who has 4 kids that she wants to go take
Yeah.
to a movie.
Yeah.
And oh god damn it, yeah. punch me,
Anyways,
kill
I'm
me.
still going to bleep it every time.
But
Every time
they
we're
don't,
gonna
us
believe
three dudes,
Yeah.
or a whole movie theater.
But
of
they know we're
moms.
gonna go see the movie anyway.
Now,
Yeah.
you know, we're all different fandoms. We all love different movies. We all will go see. There are people who legitimately saw this movies like 7 or 8 times in the theater.
Yeah.
And as somebody, like, I can love a movie. For me, like I said, this movie was so bad as a movie. Forget being a Power Rangers fan. I can accept new stuff coming in. If it's done well. It's like a new series. Ninja Steel. Terrible. But it's source material. It's original source material done well. So people would rather watch the Super Sentai. It's the same exact stuff done in a way that's better. Give us something that was a better movie. As a movie, make it better. Take the same thing you did, but make a better movie with it. That's what I would want. Same thing with Transformers. Take what you did, kill Michael Bay, and make a better movie. Just kill Michael Bay. He needs to stop.
Don't do that. That's a crime. And then you'll be an accomplice because you just encouraged however many.
In the
viewers.
movie, kill Michael Bay. Physically, actually have Michael Bay die in the movie,
see,
and then
the
it becomes.
thing is
And then it becomes a better
as a
movie after
cameo?
that. No, and it becomes a better movie after he's gone.
Yeah.
I want to see that in a parody.
Well, and at the end of the day,
Die in an
I'm sorry, I don't mean any-
exploding fireworks.
at the end of the day, if
building.
it don't make dollars for them, it don't make sense.
No, I want to have him choking on a copy of a better movie.
3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, I want to see him die under a marquee of his own movie.
Yeah.
You're a terrible person.
Not in real life. He just needs to stop making.
Just like on Adult Swim on like Robot Chicken.
But Michael Bay can make a good movie. He just forgot how.
It's because he hung out with Shia.
Okay,
LaBeouf
in the
for
same
4
in the same
movies.
summer, I went and saw
It's
Transformers.
like Tim Burton. He can make good movies, but forgot how.
That's because he met Johnny
Back
Depp.
in the 90s.
It's because he met Helen Bonham Carter and Johnny Depp. He forgot how to make good movies. Now he's divorced from one and should be divorced from the other, but he's not. Anyways,
That's his life raft.
yeah, his life. That's the only thing that makes him a movie.
Rose on a door.
Yeah.
I wonder who's the big spoon and little spoon.
Wait, so who's actually floating there, Johnny or Tim? Which one's whose door?
I think Tim's Jack.
Tim's Jack.
Tim is Jack.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Tim is Jack because he's divorced. He has nothing.
We're in a
Johnny's
weird place here.
Yeah, we are.
This is a funny
We
place.
digress.
No, I like this. I like tangents, but good lord, I just realized how long this video is.
What's the good?
Okay,
And I see where you're going with
before we go into
everything,
the what is good. Like I said, if this movie was a better movie, I probably would have liked it more. It had its great moments, but it has so many bad moments. Like, any of the potty humor, probably not necessary. Jerking off a cow, pointless. We didn't see the jerking off a cow.
That's the Deadpool did good rated R. Let's go.
Deadpool
edgy.
did it because
Let's
Deadpool
go.
is like that. Power Rangers are not.
They're just edgy.
The new edgy Power Rangers.
Well, and that's the thing is that's one of those other
But it
things
wasn't
where they're just
needed.
like, we're gonna try new stuff and hopefully it works, and you're just like,
No,
No.
I'm not saying that it ever needed to be the absolute clean, we're the best of the best people of the 90s. Which, mind you, taking the top tier people and making them into superheroes totally makes sense. But that's not how you get good characters.
Yeah.
But eventually they somehow got character development out of those people. Now, Bulk and Skull's character arc over 15 years was actually good. When they kept popping up and developing as people, they got more development than any other character ever in that series.
True story.
With the exception of, like, Time Force. I talked about Jen had a very good character arc in Time Force. It was so good. That's why it's one of my favorite series. It was a sad character arc, but so was Kendrick's.
Yeah.
And in real life, that she had to bow out because she got sick, I think, in real life or something. That's why she had to die, if I remember. She didn't die, I don't think. But she had some kind of serious illness. But it's okay, we got a good Pink Ranger replacement. But we got more adult themes. Now, in this movie, it was all adult.
Yeah.
Forgot how to be kids. Forgot how to have fun. I think this movie, at some point, took itself too seriously and forgot how to have fun and then tried to turn it around.
See, and that's the thing I was touching on is like they tried to do too much with that adult teenage.
Yeah.
Like
teenage angst.
There was way too much focus on that. Because in the series, whenever you watch a TV show, it's like we're teenagers, we go do stuff.
No,
here's some powers.
You know what this was? This was if the CW got it for a Thursday night show.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was very Vampire Diaries Teen Wolf.
This is the CW if they got it as a Thursday night show and somebody from Degrassi was writing it.
But it's also shot in Canada, so...
Oh, man, yeah.
yeah.
Like that's...
I just got what you said.
Spot on.
Yeah.
But you can tell, one, this was shot in Canada with a bunch of teenagers.
Tommy with an eye.
Tommy with an eye, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Okay, we're letting it go. Letting it go. Alright, so we're done dissing this movie, and we're going to try to say one or two good things about it. I'll let you go.
I enjoyed the Easter eggs. There were little Easter eggs everywhere where I legitimately nerded out.
Yeah.
I like the Easter eggs. I love the Krispy Kreme product placement about the Cradle of Life.
You know what?
I thought that was great.
I think they did that in a way where it's like, you know what? If we have one product placement in here, we're just going to, fuck it. We're putting it there.
They killed it a lot.
Now, the powers outside the costume, big hot point for some people.
But think about it. They sort of did have... They gained originally, they gained the innate fighting ability.
Yes.
They weren't like super strong, but they were stronger. They weren't superheroes.
What I like is the fact that it showed, Jason breaking a porcelain sink with no problem.
Thank God it was sink.
And you're like, geez, like these guys are ridiculously strong,
Yeah.
but then yet they still got their butt kicked by the fake putties that they were training against. And Rita just completely
obliterated them. Yeah.
Like it's like, sure, you're super strong. Oh, but I've had this for so long.
But she's had her power.
Here you
go. And that's the cool thing to show their teenage-esque years.
They're inexperienced.
Where they're like,
oh,
because anybody who's like, I got powers, and then all of a sudden somebody who's had their powers for hundreds of years is gonna be like, I'm gonna put my foot in your ass.
Yeah, I thought that was really nice way to balance it.
If Zordon had been like more involved to like teach them more, I thought it would have been better. But being stuck in the wall and not even being able to communicate long distance, which I'm sorry, alien suits would have communicators built in. But I liked, like I said, I liked the Ranger fight when they finally morphed and they finally went to battle with the putties. That was awesome. The putties finding their way into the ship, sort of, or the cavern at least. That didn't make any sense because they shouldn't have been able to access it. Well, maybe with Rita's knowledge they did.
Possibly. Yeah.
But they didn't have power coins to let them in.
True.
So, one issue. I'm just nitpicking at that point. The fight was great. It was done well. The martial arts, well, it wasn't overdone. It wasn't like, but they were beating the crap out of putties. That was actually pretty cool. I'm glad it wasn't a
kung fu movie.
Right.
Billy being the heart of the movie, I thought was actually really good.
I like that they put somebody.
They gave somebody to be the heart, and it wasn't Jason. Jason didn't have to pull everybody together. In fact, Jason was one person who was having a hard time keeping anyone there at all. You know, because he was the one like, okay, I'm friends with Billy, quote unquote.
When they did have character development, you were like, this is cool.
It felt...
Some of it actually, and I know I said I was done hating on it, some of it was like sudden turn.
Oh, yeah.
Some of it was like, okay, it makes sense that they would think this way now. Some of it was literally like, okay, now I'm on your side, I'm going this way. And that was annoying. So some of them were, not all of them.
Seeing a character technically die, I thought was good.
Yeah, him dying and like being legitimately dead.
Because in American Power Rangers, it doesn't usually happen.
Very, very rare.
Whereas I know in Sentai, you're dead. Like, next guy.
However, they did kill the only black character.
Yeah, they did follow that trope.
Yeah.
Sad day, sad.
The scary white girl killed the only black guy.
Michael Bay did it in Transformers too. Transformers 1, Jazz, the only black Power Ranger, first to die.
The only black Power Ranger, the only black.
I mean, the only black Transformer.
At that point, then we guess. Anyways, we're not going into the racial stereotypes of Michael Bay.
Like,
because he has had some very powerful black characters.
His first transformation was a breakdance, and then his first line in the movie was "Sup, bitches."
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. And then when he was dead, he was like, "Oh, damn." Anyways, we're not going into Transformers. We've already done Transformers. I'm sorry, I'm touching your knee.
No, you're good.
What else was good?
No, you don't get it.
It actually was shot really well. I do give it enough there. Shot. I will give it credit, just like Transformers, shot very well.
The fight scene was cool.
Everything was. I mean, not just fight scene. I'm talking about the movie. It was
the fight
beautiful. It was a great looking movie, despite the fact.
I enjoyed the town. Like, it wasn't too small. They didn't try to make it too townish, but they didn't make it that absurdly huge Angel Grove that we also grew up with.
Although it wasn't a metropolis.
Yeah.
Though I was halfway expecting Jennifer Love Hewitt to come out being chased by a guy with a hook.
Oh yeah.
Because it was very, I know what you did last summer.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I had to eventually spell that out.
If you remember, like, whenever we were growing up with Power Rangers, Angel Grove was very, like,
it was enormous
at first.
Yeah. It seemed
But
small.
then, like, each series, there was, like, a bigger part of Angel Grove that's just like, oh, yeah, we have a space station here.
Yeah, there's no way that...
Yeah, we have...
That's because that insurance money kept paying out.
Yeah. Who was paying for that city to be rebuilt? Now, actually...
Could you imagine FEMA every series?
Well, no, you know what? No, actually, you know what it would have had to have been? It would have had to have been like in Marvel where they had damage control.
Right.
Where it's
it'd be
funded.
Prima, because it'd be Power Rangers Emergency. Oh God, what's the M and the A? Medical assistance or something assistance.
Whatever.
Yeah.
FEMA Rangers.
Writing checks.
That's terrible because they only come around after the disaster. They're not there to help prevent it. Anyways, we're way off topic on that. You know, it's not off topic for you.
Touching on the Easter eggs, there's a lot of little stuff. Like if you were...
I said touching on it.
I need an adult.
Not in this house.
Oh, God. Like all the small Easter eggs, if you grew up with all the little series,
Anyways.
they were really good about kind of showing that...
Okay, name off some more Easter eggs because I'm forgetting them.
So whenever whenever the dad gets called to go to the boat,
yeah,
they're like, oh yeah, they had trouble in Mariner Bay. Mariner Bay is where Lightspeed happens.
Okay.
Which is really cool. So, and I was like, that's really cool. So they're showing that like everything legitimately always happens.
Wasn't Mariner Bay also where Aquaman took place? I'm pretty sure Mariner Bay was actually the name of the Aquaman series on the CW that never happened. Anyways.
But there was that.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
I know there was a lot of them. I actually should have looked up the list of those. There was a few. No bother.
There was a lot of them.
We're already at 2.5 hours, I think. At least.
Yeah.
We're 57 minutes into this.
I liked the Monster Grow, but...
I hated that. That was terrible. And I think Elizabeth Banks did a good job as Rita, but she wasn't given enough to do.
Kind of like why I
And she was a bit of a big-name actor for this movie.
What's his name as Joker? Complete brain
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto. I hate him as a Joker.
Really?
But at the same time, he really didn't get a lot of screen time.
That was actually editing, and we know that.
So
I think Rita was given only what was right in front of her.
I actually really enjoyed what happened with Rita. I just wanted more with her.
I think we needed more of her building a power base of some sort, like literally, like because literally she's wandering around like this weird, creepy lady. People would keep
like they should have. It should have been Rocky 1 where he loses. Like, yeah, they should have lost this fight.
There should have been more. This is where I said
Rita be the villain for the second one.
Well, what I thought, like I said earlier, they should have got their powers earlier. They should have had these fights earlier instead of all right at the end. They should have been fighting the putties early on while they're still trying to handle their powers, and they barely win against the putties.
Well, and like I said, they could have done that whole like powers at the beginning.
Yeah.
Zordon saying this is the history, this is why we need you guys, and this is who you are supposed to be.
Yeah.
And we could have progressed absurdly smoothly.
The Power Rangers needed to be in this movie more than they were.
Yeah.
So basically,
they
should have found teens with attitudes like they did in the series.
It should have been starting off like that.
Yeah.
However,
they should have woke up and been a coin there.
But not even that.
Well,
but
not
the
even
way we
woke
said
up,
it earlier. They
like
found
earlier, if they
passed down.
Exactly.
Even if they discovered them on their own individually, like because now the coins have a reason. Like Rita's awake. That's what happened before. Rita woke up, and then they needed Rangers to fight her. Right. So if they found Rita first, and then she's trying to find either the coins or the ships or whatever first, but the coins find their way to the people they need to get to now because somebody's located.
It makes a lot more sense because Zach could have found it in the train yard that he hung out at. Billy could have found it in the quarry without having a big crazy chase scene.
Or what if Billy had them?
Jason could have found it while they were still in the cow or the bull or
still
whatever.
in the cow or something.
Well,
no, realistically, even if Billy found them first and they all found their way to Billy. Either way, if they found their powers individually and they came together as a group, it would have made more sense than them finding them as a group.
Because if he's already the heart of everything, he's like, guys, I found these belong to my family. Each one, you should have one.
Something like that.
Some way where the coins make it to them, and then they can just go, all right, this is what's going on.
Yeah, because they could have had their coins, they could have developed their powers without having to come together first.
Right.
In an awkward manner. It would have been more, but then they develop as Rangers throughout the movie instead of literally, they could have developed their powers longer. Given us the same 11 days, but got them their powers.
They could have even gotten the coins and accidentally tapped into it like Billy.
Yeah.
And been like, well, crap, what is this?
Would have given more reason for Jason to defend Billy in detention too.
Right.
Instead of just, hey, I'm going to randomly.
And if they didn't need their powers outside their suits, then
right.
Something. But then find or if the accident took them to the command center, like I said, and then from there they started developing. Instead of all this other crap happens. Then they're like, hey, maybe we should go do this. Hey, we should go over here. Let's jump down this random hole. Not any fucking reason to go down there except for...
Billy fell. He didn't make the jump.
Into the right spot.
Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't they be drawn
that would make the coins make more sense, because if they have the coins, and we go with that way far-fetched thing where the coins can tap into their memories, they could have had little flashes in their mind of did you guys have that same dream last night kind of thing, I
thought that was part of it. They should have had something like that.
Yeah, that would have been...
But then also, if it taps into their minds because you need to know more about them, it also went that way in the series. When they gained their powers, they all had the same knowledge. They got downloads of everything they needed to know, except for, maybe the Zords, stuff like that. They knew Zordon had to tell them that. But that's where it also... Zordon was empty in this. They innately knew a lot of things, but we could have had any of that built in. And I forgot we were going down that whole negative hole, or what could have been better hole, realistically, because I think we ran out of good things. Honestly. Okay, the acting. Actors, all the guys who played Power Rangers were good.
They were really good.
I like that they got no names.
They got no names. Or actually, some of them had been on either Nickelodeon shows or something like that. So they were minor. They were minor no-name actors. I do think they should have gone with somebody completely unknown for Rita instead of Elizabeth Banks.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a brand new character, or hell, give us the original Rita. Nobody would have noticed because you look totally friggin' different. Although a little older at this point.
Right.
But Elizabeth Banks... Okay, Elizabeth Banks was chewing the scenery in every scene. Even in the first one where she resurrected and had to suck the dude to death. I keep leaving the pause there on purpose. But, there's a lot that they needed to do with it, but I'd like so much of it. The suits weren't bad, but they should have been slightly better. The CG was actually pretty good for what it was.
Yeah.
The interactions got better with the Rangers. It makes sense they would be opening up more.
Mm-hmm.
The development story was always good. They just every now and then they needed to tweak something and go, okay, now it makes more sense for this person to develop this way. Not just oops, I accidentally sent nudes and everybody hates me, so now everybody needs to like me or else I can't accept myself anymore.
Right.
What? I think Kimberly honestly got the least amount of development out of anybody, but also she held on to the secret long enough to why she was having issues. Everybody else kind of spilled the beans around the campfire.
Yeah.
And then Kimberly just wanted to keep holding on. So she was the one who was holding them back from morphing. And we never even talked about them having to morph around the morphin grid, but Billy did it in the cavern randomly.
Well, they didn't have to. That's just...
No, he said they basically did. Source. You stand here and you morph. But Billy did it standing out in the middle of the open. Nowhere near anything. So they had the ability to change wherever they were. Because it would make no sense to have to be at the command center to morph.
You're just going to have to watch the movie again and check it.
I think it was just him trying to teach
it.
them to morph. This is the morphing grid that's in front of you. Let's go ahead and tap into it.
But
maybe it's also should be the first time.
Well, it might be a whole, like...
You can't get pregnant on the first time.
Since this is the morphing grid being so close to it, they're like, all right, you're right here.
It should have been easy.
You should have no problem doing it.
Yeah.
But I think Zordon should have been like, look, Billy did this because of this. Somebody could have said, this is why Billy was able to morph.
Zordon's a dick.
Zordon's a dick.
That's why... Yeah, that's what that adds up to.
Zordon was a dick. He could have helped them a lot more.
Well, and that's
Alpha. I didn't even go there. Alpha was awesome.
Alpha was great.
That was actually very awesome.
People that complained the way he looked, that he looked too alien.
I liked it.
He was alien.
After finally seeing it on screen, like the toy was crap because we didn't know anything. But actually seeing him do stuff and the fact that he kind of had an artificial brain or a tiny bit of morphing grid in his head made sense.
Yeah, I liked him.
I forgot what's the name of the guy who played him. I can't remember.
He's been on a lot of SNL and
it wasn't Rainn Wilson. It was the other guy.
Don't know.
But
Alpha was awesome.
Alpha was great. Oh God, what is his name? I see his face. Yeah, he definitely is an SNL alum. He's a great comedian and all that.
Yeah.
But he was great. And he was a good exposition dump and he was the connecting point between Zordon and the Rangers. Well, he cared about the Rangers.
Zordon's also part of the reason why they couldn't tap into it because he was like, you just have to do it. And you're like, this is why your team's asses got whooped in the first place.
Yeah, that was.
You have no explanations and nothing works.
Yeah, when they called him. Now, who was their leader that got Zordon to be? Who got those old Rangers? That's what it should have been like. If he was this epic hero and all this stuff, they were great warriors.
Well, and see, that's that
why
flashback. Whenever they first got there, they could have been like, okay, here's the memory flash where here's Zordon and his team completely happy, and even Rita right there.
Yeah, Rita being.
But then do the whole like switch over to the dark stuff and like her slowly becoming bad.
Yeah. And
you could have even put in like a little like Lord Zed like.
Can we just get that movie?
Background.
Can we just get that movie? That'd be great.
How'd you feel about Zordon being the reason that the Zordon and Alpha being the ones that killed the dinosaurs? I thought that was kind of funny.
I think that was forced, but it worked.
I thought it was good.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
Be like, oh yeah.
But
it made no sense to drop the meteor. Like he already had the plan. Like. He said, "Drop the meteor, not pull one from somewhere." He said, "Drop the meteor."
Well, and that also explains,
why did we have a meteor?
That also explains like why the Mastodon could have not finished its switching over.
Well, we never even talked about if the Zords existed then in that fight,
right?
Or because it would have made sense if they had the Zords and they were fighting. What if they actually never got to see the Megazord from the original Rangers? Or like you said, maybe their protoform, they had whatever. Because they explained that they take on whatever the mightiest thing.
Well, that's my thing, is like if they did the protoform like on Beast Wars, because Beast Wars all they did was,
and they
for all we know, whenever they fucking killed them all.
That's how they got the dinosaurs, yeah.
There were complete was it like skeletons for them to scan, except the Mastodon, and the Mastodon was
the Triceratops had 6 legs, remember?
Yeah.
But what if it just happened to have bones from another one nearby, and that's
exactly, yeah. And so that's that protoform weirdness.
But I mean, even the pterodactyl, that was the least stretched. But they also were supposed to be weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So, and honestly, they except against Goldar, they actually served their point as weapons. They just couldn't beat Goldar, though. I think fighting anything else.
And I will say this, at least they gave Goldar the whole, it's Goldar, he's a badass, and they're going to have trouble with him.
Yeah, that made sense until they made the Megazord. Which means, previously, they must not have had a Megazord at their disposal, or they would have beat Goldar back in the day, without having the colony drop, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Basically, that's what they did. They just colony dropped to knock him out. So they formed North America. Except the meteor that crashed to kill the dinosaurs didn't happen there. It happened elsewhere. Anyways, we're not going into the actual history. Forget that. Zordon did it. That bastard. I downloaded your consciousness into the ship after you died. How? Anyways, we're not going into
alien science.
Okay,
that's literally the theme for the most of the discussion. That was like, why did this happen? Alien science.
Personally, I think, you know what? They should have just let the power coins on the ship. Because it crash landed and they blew up Rita. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't have mattered. She wouldn't have known where it was. It would have made way more sense. They don't have to find it. They could accidentally find the ship, which would have made a little bit more sense. Then, okay, we found the coins.
They could have even done this number, which is very far-fetched to follow with me. But if she's been around, like if they didn't knock out Rita, she could have been like a teacher or something in their Angel Grove school.
Now you're talking about like X-Men Evolution.
That's what I'm saying, though. What I'm saying is
what was that series that did that? Which one of them did that? There was a where both of the bad guys had human forms in their school.
Oh, that was Dino Thunder.
That was Dino Thunder, yeah.
So like they could have been like following her around and be like, she's effing weird, and then all of a sudden one day like she takes him down somewhere.
Miss Rita, what are you doing?
Yeah. There was a lot of things they could have done different. If they just pulled a little bit more from Power Rangers history.
And like I said earlier, you could have either like just grabbed for it and like, this is okay, or just not touched it at all.
Yeah. But they wanted to build something new off of what existed. And but, I mean, if there's an extended cut somewhere that has a lot of inserts, things that make more sense and make it flow a little bit better, I'm down for that. Just like Batman vs. Superman. It took an entirely different cut to actually make that movie make sense. And apparently there's even an extended edition of Suicide Squad that does the same thing. And also adds in the extra scenes that the Joker were cut. There's 10 minutes. There's like 10 minutes of Joker that were completely cut from that movie. And that movie's long and crap. But I think Rita was definitely better than Enchantress.
I'll take Rita over Enchantress.
Tell you what,
she didn't wiggle and magic came out of her.
She was creepy though.
I think Scorpina would have been a fun one there.
Yes,
they could have done
Scorpina.
Yeah, they could have tied in
All right, guys, so we ran out of memory somewhere in the middle of that conversation. It doesn't matter. We're trying to wrap this up. So, realistically, hopefully I split this into 2 separate podcasts. So we're doing all the Power Ranger stuff earlier and then all the movie stuff now. So we'll just go ahead and wrap up all the movie stuff because, good God, there was a lot to talk about this movie. I would say if you haven't seen the movie, go see it, rent it, Redbox it, find it for free if you can save your money. Form your own opinion if you're a Power Rangers fan. If you're not a Power Rangers fan, let me know what you thought. If you just went and saw this because you thought it'd be a fun movie, let me know what you thought from the outside, because we're all fans looking at it from the inside. And we all kind of had differing and similar opinions on different things about it. You saw it through different eyes than I did. You know, I'm analyzing it as a movie. You're analyzing it as a fan. Nick is somewhere in between. But we're also the same way on the Transformers. Which, that was a long enough podcast in and of itself. If we had had a third person with an opinion, it would have been even longer.
Yeah.
And, well, Dion didn't need to be here for this one, but, you know. But it's been a lot of fun. I'm glad you guys actually got to come over. I know this has been way longer than we anticipated, but we had a lot of fun. And Dan, of course, thanks for bringing all your fun toys over. I'm going to have a lot of fun going over them. And then we'll have to come back for another discussion of some sort, because we have plenty of similar nerddoms.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I've been trying to get together a Doctor Who Nerdcast as well. The first Nerdcast actually had an entire Doctor Who section talking about just the Ninth Doctor. Only the Ninth Doctor. And we talked about it for like an hour and a half.
Why do we not have a spin-off with his daughter?
Because she married David Tennant, it'd be a little awkward. Because the 10th Doctor married the daughter of the 4th Doctor. So they keep it in the family.
I guess.
So he married his clone daughter. Never mind. We're not going to go there. It's Doctor Who-isms.
Yeah.
Try following those timelines.
It's rough.
Yeah. They can retcon and it makes sense. Because when they have a problem, they should reboot the entire universe.
Yeah.
But then keep going like nothing happened. No, they still remember everything. Anyways, we're going to talk about Doctor Who forever. But let us know your opinions in the comments down below, guys. Because it's a very polarizing movie. For sure. Just like the DC movies. They took what people loved and then tried to do their own twist on it and had very mixed results. There were some fans who were like, screw this, I'm never watching another one of these movies. And you had people who go out and buy every version of the DVD they can because they have to have it so good.
Not us.
Yeah, they're collecting the DVDs. I don't understand that. Good for you, but I don't get it, okay? And I know whoever you were, you'll see this, and it's okay, you can call me an asshole. I don't care. It's weird. It's weird to buy all the DVDs. And Blu-rays, sorry, and the Blu-rays. All of the Blu-rays. Because there's literally hundreds of dollars dumped just in buying the movies.
Right.
And that's without going to see it 10 times. If you saw this movie 10 times in theaters, did you get your head checked afterwards? Let us know in the comments down below.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you guys want to say anything to end it off?
I always enjoyed doing the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed everything.
I know we talk on forever.
Yeah.
And plus, it's kind of fun to have these guys on camera with me. I know it's a new thing this season of Shoky Reviews.
The guy who brings all the other stuff that Shoky doesn't
Yeah, and apparently you've been holding out on me with
I'm
classic.
not holding out.
Dude, you have a Toki changer.
You got a lot of stuff to review.
I'm running out of stuff for quickies, and people want to see the Power Ranger stuff.
Gotcha.
So you need to bring some more Power Ranger stuff.
We need to do one of like various rip-offs of successful TV shows, like Beetleborgs from Power Rangers.
Well, rip off is a stretch.
It just wasn't popular here.
They were trying to play on.
I mean, but look how many other series we had, but they were all Japanese based. Every one of those shows came from a Japanese base. VR Troopers. Yeah.
Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. Way long title.
Yeah.
Yes, more mechs.
No, that was a great show, but that was also.
No, it was a horrible show. It really.
I love that show. Come on. I actually had the toys for that.
That show was horrible. Beetleborgs show was horrible.
Beetleborgs was at least made in the 4K.
I tried watching it a couple of years ago, and I did not.
VR Troopers I liked, but they didn't do enough with it. Actually, the series that VR Troopers came from, the Sentai version, is actually so much better. Not Super Sentai, but that version, the Japanese stuff it came from, was apparently very good.
The Toku universe.
Yeah. So yeah, Toku. It's all tokusatsu.
It's so bad.
I liked VR Troopers, but only because that chick was hot.
It's so bad.
Anyways, we're supposed to be saying goodbye.
Yeah.
So, from Nick, Dan, and myself, thanks for listening and or watching. I know it's hard to look at three fat guys sitting amongst Gunpla, but it is what it is. We're all beautiful in our own stuff. I miss my beard. This is a problem.
Real men have curves.
Real men have curves and
Deal with
beards.
some cheese curds now, man.
Okay, who's gonna go buy the cheese curds? We gotta get fatter for this.
Right.
Good lord. Anyways, guys, make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't, or if you're bailing out right and left right now, I totally understand. But come on back, or else you won't be in the 1,000 subscriber contest. So,
more videos to come.
also, thank my Patreon guys, as usual. John, Andy, you guys are great. Hopefully I have a thing right here on the screen, right across his belly. Just there you go. There you go. Like, wear it like a belt.
Vanna White.
Vanna White. There it is. Thanks. I'm going to make sure it comes across the screen multiple times for that. We'll edit and post.
It's there. It's gone. It's there.
And I'll say this, for those of you who are Power Rangers fans but have not seen anything from the Sentai universe, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, definitely. Go check out Super
There's
Sentai.
plenty to binge watch if you guys are binge watchers. There's tons of series. They have like 40 years of stuff now to watch.
Oh, definitely. And if you want to see anything about the toys, go check out all the main reviewers and stuff like that who do that. I suggest Imgo because I love the way he looks at things.
Yeah.
And he has all of this, like, so many years of Sentai stuff. And that's why, like, you go see Tokuger and all that stuff. Go see the final Tokuger review where he literally lines out all the trains across the floor of his basement.
Imgo does really good reviews for a lot.
I love Imgo. Go check him out. If anybody don't know, Imgo 316 or 318.
Yeah.
One of those.
Some of
If there's a 318 and a 316, we'll do it.
Hey.
Yeah, exactly. But from all of us here at Shoky Reviews crew, because Dan now counts, he's been here twice.
Yeah.
He's part of the Nerdcast crew now. And clearly he's going to come back for other nerdisms. And, blind Nick over here. He has eyes! Thank you, Ray Charles. Actually, you do look more like Ray Charles than Stevie Wonder. Anyways, good God. We never know how to end these damn things. Guys, remember as always, keep on nerding, keep on building, and let's keep building this community together, because we got awesome nerds like this and this. Nerds come in one shape. Round!
Round is the shape.
Round is the shape. See you guys later.